Today's video is going to be a little bit longer than my normal movie reviews because I got a lot to talk about here. This is the first Star Wars movie I've ever reviewed on my channel. So yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan. Have been since 1977. So a while back, actually about a year and a half ago, my friend Steve gave me this. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the widescreen video collector's edition. Yeah, it's the big box, double wide from it, like, so it doesn't fit with any of your other VHS tapes on the shelf. Yeah, so I decided that if I'm going to start reviewing Star Wars movies, I'm going to start with the first one. I know, chronologically, in real life, it's not the first one, but it's called Episode 1, so shut the hell up. Anyway, this box set is pretty cool, I gotta say. You get a booklet, Episode 1, the art of Episode 1, and it shows you like all the, like all the concept paintings and stuff like that. Like here's, 20 different versions of Jar Jar or whatever until they perfected it. And then you got this. This is pretty cool. I don't know if you can see this, and I don't know if there's enough light coming through, but this is like a film strip. It's like 6 frames or 5 frames of the actual movie. I mean, this isn't the one that I saw in the theater, whatever. This is a print. But you actually get like 5 collectible frames here. Like you can't really see it in here. But this scene, I believe, is Jar Jar with the droid in Watto's junk shop just before he gets kicked in the nuts. Anyway, that's kind of cool. A little collectible thing here. And then we get the movie itself. Yeah, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. You got the pod race. You got Darth Maul versus the 2 Jedi. And you get this guy. Star Wars Episode 1, we get introduced to the infamous Jar Jar Binks. I'll get into that later. Okay, well, so I said I was a Star Wars fan for life, right? And I was hearing stuff for like the next 10 years after Return of the Jedi that how George Lucas wants to continue on the saga, but he's going to go back and he's going to tell the story of Darth Vader before he became Darth Vader. I was like, cool. Yeah, like that'll ever happen. George Lucas never gave up on that. I mean, he used that legendary revenue that he made from all the Star Wars action figures and toys and all the merchandising rights from Star Wars. If anybody had the purchasing power, let's say, for the top-notch special effects and the use of the greatest special effects team in the world, which he built, and all these resources and all this marketability of Star Wars, like, of course, it's going to be amazing. Don't get me wrong. I actually like The Phantom Menace. A lot of people don't. And I don't get that. I mean, this movie gives me a lot of stuff that I didn't like. But it gives me so much of the stuff that I do like. Which I think balances it out, good versus bad, and an overall positive experience watching this movie. Plus, I get the added bonus of being able to criticize absolutely everything that's on screen and say how stupid that is, but also say how cool certain other things are. Yeah, there's lots of stupid shit in here. Everybody points to Jar Jar Binks and Anakin Skywalker. I mean, the characters. Jar Jar Binks as a character, comedic relief, just, genetically engineered to be your comedy relief, or digitally engineered, I suppose. I don't know why people hated him so much. And like, okay, well, his behavior was childish, and it felt out of place in a Star Wars movie. Ewoks. It just didn't appeal to people, I guess. I don't know. I don't find Jar Jar Binks to be super annoying, and I don't wish any harm upon Jar Jar Binks. But, that's pretty tragic that Ahmed Best, the actor that played Jar Jar Binks, he wanted to kill himself because of all the hate towards his character and how, he ruined Star Wars and Anyway, like, Star Wars ruined Ahmed Best. It certainly helped Natalie Portman, who I think is actually more annoying and gives a worse performance than Jar Jar Binks. And Anakin Skywalker, Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker, he went through lots of troubles and got lots of hate, and, you know, he's terrible in the movie, I'm not gonna lie, but no worse than a lot of kids in lots of other types of movies. It's just, oh my god, you ruined Star Wars. You ruined my childhood. How about his childhood? You don't think that's pretty ruined by now? Like, holy shit, people. Jake Lloyd, you know, wherever you are out there, man, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve all the hate. You know, and even George Lucas doesn't deserve all the hate. Look at what this guy put together and what he created, and, like, you know, maybe he didn't do it all himself, but he had the final say on everything, and so people just, like, jumped all over him and how horribly he treated something that he had already perfected and now just ruined it. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I could talk all day about the Phantom Menace, and I'm not wearing a watch, but I probably will talk all day. So, like I said, look out for a long video here. Was the Phantom Menace really that bad? Compared to, let's say, The Empire Strikes Back, it's pretty bad, but, I mean, it's not the worst Star Wars movie, in my opinion. Attack of the Clones maybe might be a little worse. And don't even get me started about Rise of Skywalker. That's going to get its own video someday. But yeah, it's far from the best Star Wars movie, though. But let's talk about the good things about it. You got to see awesome Jedi battles. Young Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn are doing amazing Jedi stunts and using their powers, and lightsaber battles, and just spectacular looking duels, and that was cool. We get to see the Jedi Council. That's pretty cool. Like, you know, what the actual Jedi Knights were, as referenced in the original trilogy. Now, of course, in the original theatrical version on the Jedi Council, you had a Yoda who was a puppet. When they transferred all these over to Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, they inserted a CGI Yoda to reflect what he looked like in Attack of the Clones. Now, I kind of like the puppet Yoda. He's uglier than he was in the original trilogy, but he's still a puppet, and that's kind of cool. Just the fact that it's an actual physical thing right there, and it's not something just kind of painted on the screen. And Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu, he doesn't do much in The Phantom Menace, but we're introduced to him, and how he's a wise and powerful Jedi Master. To see Samuel L. Jackson playing that character, it's like, you're going to tell me that this guy is the same as this guy? But very different characters. Anyway, yeah, he's fine. So the Jedi Council stuff was cool. The droid army is another thing to talk about. I think they're kind of cool. Yeah, they look stupid and they have stupid voices, but I think it kind of works. So, especially the Gungan droid battle scene near the end, where they they're unloading all the, you know, just racks and racks of these like battle droids. And I mean, yeah, they're kind of stupid, like with the whole Roger, Roger, you're under arrest, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, it's kind of goofy, and they actually get a little too goofy, I think, in the movies going forward from this, especially Revenge of the Sith. But here they're okay. I thought they were kind of neat. And, you know, kudos to the animation and the puppet department, or whoever made all these droids, and or digitally or physically. There's definitely another positive right there. There's all the special effects. Look at how fucking cool this stuff was, man. This was, at this point, 24 years ago. I think it still holds up just as well as people say the same thing about Jurassic Park. So special effects are top notch. Music is amazing. I mean, you got John Williams' score like you do in every other Star Wars movie. God bless John Williams, and I hope he lives forever, because John Williams is amazing. This movie has that epic feel from the music, And especially the new piece of music that you get with the Jedi battle, the Duel of the Fates, it's called. One of the best pieces of Star Wars music out there. Even the battle theme, the battle droid theme is super good in here. And Darth Maul is pretty cool. I like that he was like kind of mysterious and don't really know anything about him. He only has a few lines, but he's menacing and he's like full-blown Sith warrior. He's a red lightsaber. He's evil. But what's this? He's got a double red lightsaber. Oh my god, he must be twice as evil. And he holds his own against the two Jedi, and like that's a great scene. That's one of the best scenes in Star Wars, I think. I mean, now when I say scene, you know how like Phantom Menace, just like Return of the Jedi did this, has that montage kind of feel to it, where it's like they show you like a minute of one thing that's going on, and then simultaneously this is going on, and then simultaneously that is going on. Well, you get your Jedi battle, you get your Queen assaulting the palace, you get the Gungans versus droids, and you also get the space battle. Yeah, it's pretty jam-packed. Now, they could have done without at least two of those things, and maybe doubled up on the Jedi stuff. Would have been a lot more fun. But we had to give our protagonists, 9-year-old kid that we don't even see until like 25 minutes into the movie, they had to give him something to do in the climax, which was really dumb and looks really stuck in there. So yeah, that whole montage thing is not necessarily a positive. I didn't care for Liam Neeson that much in this movie. It's not that I didn't like him, but I'd always heard stories about how much he hated working on this movie. And this was terrible and a terrible experience for him and kind of dissed Star Wars, and I guess he has the right to. He worked on it. I don't know, I just don't find him that exciting in this movie. He's pretty deadpan for the most of it, and kind of even Ewan McGregor kind of plays it that way, but Ewan McGregor is a little bit more charismatic, even though he gets far less lines and far less to do, except kill Darth Maul in the end, or cut him in half. Ooh, spoilers! And Natalie Portman, I don't know, there's some like notably really bad lines that she gives, and her horrible like made up English accent or whatever, her fancy talking accent. We shall see, Senator. Sounds like a fucking moron. I don't know what she did before this movie, because this is the first thing I ever saw Natalie Portman in. Well, I guess she was in Mars Attacks. And she was better in Mars Attacks than she was in The Phantom Menace. It's like she had horrible lines to speak and probably horrible direction. It must have been a tough gig. And plus you got like 5 pounds of makeup on, and you're 16 and you're part of this huge billion-dollar franchise. It's a lot of pressure. And then you have to say these like stupid lines that every line of dialogue in this whole movie is like exposition. There's some comedic moments too that they don't really advance the story, but they're stuck in there. We spent so much time on telling the story and giving the background. Some of the discussions between the characters are just so inane. Like, people don't talk like that. Negotiations? We've lost all communications. And where are the Chancellor's ambassadors? Did you make it purposely like rhyme? That's the dumbest line I've ever heard in my life. The best actor in this whole movie, I think, is the guy that plays Palpatine. He's the only guy that's believable. Is like, okay, this guy's gonna turn into that guy that we remember from the original trilogy. He's the only convincing one. No, Ewan McGregor's still the best one. Yeah, Ian, whatever his name is, McDermott, plays the Emperor. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's better in the subsequent movies, except for his fighting skills in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, I've shit on the actors enough in this movie. Like I said, why do we find Jar Jar Binks so bad? I mean, okay, you got a point. A lot of his jokes are, it's just like only a 3-year-old would laugh at this, but he suffers from the situation that is like, this is the most obvious comedic character and like so like in your face, like you're gonna laugh at Jar Jar Binks. Oh, the kids are gonna love Jar Jar Binks. He's just this goofy guy, and he flops around. He's all clumsy, and he looks like a frog, and like silly, and just put fart jokes in there too. That'll be hilarious. Oh, and he gets kicked in the nuts. For whatever reason, I like Jar Jar Binks. I don't think he's that funny, but I think he's ironically funny because he's supposed to be funny, but he's just not. And people hate him so much for it, and I find that funny. So I guess he's funny. I don't know. Whatever that circle of logic comes around to. So yeah, lay off Jar Jar, man. George Lucas always said, Star Wars is for kids. So let it be for the kids. But it seems in the new millennium, Star Wars movies have to be for adults. And mostly for adults. And there's no getting around that, because the adults are the ones that want to go see it because they remember the old movies and they want to recreate the experience and the joy of seeing a Star Wars movie in the theater. You know what I'm saying, right? Well, I mean, yeah, like the original trilogy was for kids too, sorta. Like it strangely took itself seriously. Like, yeah, the original trilogy was made for me when I was a kid. So why can't the Phantom Menace be for like younger kids in today's day and age? The pod race. Oh yeah, the pod race. Haven't even mentioned that yet in this video. It was super neat, and first of all, the sound design is amazing. Like the sound of the engines, like the and like it's all awesome. And the whole thing is modeled after like the chariot race in Ben-Hur. This set piece as a whole, I think, is pretty neat. I mean, it looks kind of cool, and you get to see Jabba the Hutt as a slightly younger Hutt, you know, and you get the two, like, idiot announcer guys, like the two-headed dude. One guy only speaks English, and the other guy speaks whatever Huttese, or whatever that other language is. Yeah, and they're pretty stupid. They made me laugh, though, the first time I saw that. I don't care what universe you're from, that's gotta hurt. That's quality humor right there. But yeah, the pod race was cool. I mean, the whole fixing the pod racer, betting with Watto, the dinner scene with Qui-Gon and Jar Jar and Padme and Anakin and his mother. Oh my god, like, this is full of exposition. Well, it's our only chance. Kind of, oh, it's destiny, and there's a lot of cheesiness in there. Oh, and Watto? Yeah, Watto. I'm not sure if Watto is a positive or a negative on here, because, like, for positive, I found him kind of funny. But for negative, he is a pretty harsh cultural stereotype. He's the sleazy salesman, and he's like, you know, a little bit shifty. He only cares about money. He's kind of a jerk and whatever. And there's a grumpy little flying elephant nose guy. And that's one thing that, yeah, in the Phantom Menace, I don't think that George Lucas was being racist about making, you know, the characters be kind of like stereotypes. I don't think that was done to harm anybody or to make any statements about anybody. I think the makers of this movie were more just looking to make some kind of connection to something in the real world that you might already be familiar with, so that you get a better sense of the actual characters. And I don't think it was intentional, but it came off looking pretty bad in some spots. Yeah, it's not my favorite of the Star Wars movies, but when it came out, I was so happy that it brought Star Wars back. Star Wars was part of my childhood, and it was great. And it was the cool stuff that I remember, and now it's cool to have that kind of... Now you got that story, and it keeps going, and they expanded it, and now it's like this big, huge thing that... Yeah, and look where we are today. Good or bad. The Phantom Menace was one of those movies that changed Star Wars forever. First of all, it opened up the Star Wars universe, and second of all, just that like it tried to make Star Wars new again. And it did. And it divided a lot of people, but it sure did get a whole lot more fans into Star Wars. There's no denying that the Phantom Menace, by its mere existence, attracted more fans to Star Wars as a franchise. And you can complain till you're blue in the face about the prequels, and there's lots to complain about. But I say, maybe try and think about the positives of them. I mean, I may be a Star Wars fan, but I'm not forced to go to see any of these movies. I'm not forced to like them or to re-watch them for any particular reason. We're so oversaturated with Star Wars in today's society. But back in 1999, Phantom Menace was... This is all you're getting right now. Anyway, I've been rambling on and on and on and on and on and on about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Once again, thanks to my friend Steve for giving me this box set. But yeah, it was fun to revisit The Phantom Menace and to watch it again. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of this VHS tape, there is also a documentary. It's about, around 10 minutes long or so. And it's like the making of The Phantom Menace. Like, tiny little clips of it. And kind of presenting The Phantom Menace. This is the collector's edition. So they try and give you a little bit of the artwork. They give you a couple of little movie stills there. And that was kind of neat. And then this documentary and a little bit of info about the making and the, concepts behind The Phantom Menace. Okay, and that's another positive for this overall review. So yeah, I didn't hate The Phantom Menace. As a matter of fact, I kind of like it. Overall, I think I'm going to give this edition of The Phantom Menace a B-. It's still Star Wars, so I still kind of like it because it ties into everything else Star Wars. There's some bad acting and bad directing in there, but there's also some amazing things that you see on screen in Star Wars that you've never seen anywhere else. I think the positives outweigh the negatives. This is almost 25 years old at this point, and I already have nostalgia for it. It seems like so long ago that I saw this movie. So yeah, B-. B- is with a thumbs up. So, because this video is so incredibly stupid long, I'm gonna have to wait a little while before I get to the other Star Wars movies in the Star Wars collection. So until the next time we visit this galaxy far, far away, may the Force be with you.